Hey guys, welcome to the Drama Club. On this week's episode, we talk about all the drama surrounding Scarlett Johansson, and then we got a two-parter featuring the curse of the Diff'rent Strokes cast and Karen Carpenter. Stay tuned.
What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Yeah, I know it, dude. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah. Now it just got sexy in here.
Bam, 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 bam. I was trying to do Barry White. Oh, babe.
Yeah, that's a bop. How many people are alive today because that song got their mamas pregnant?
You know what I'm saying? That's quite the contribution to the world.
Let's see why.
13 Reasons Why.
What? So I don't know much about that either. And I actually watched the first season of that show.
Yeah, I did too.
So they said, what got cut?
The scene where she kills herself.
Where she's in the bathtub?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was controversial.
Because the whole series is controversial.
Yeah, because it kind of like romanticizes it.
I mean, if you look at it that way, but if you look at it the way I saw it, I just thought it was like real. Like this is what goes through the mind of someone who does this.
Right. But I think it's like think of the kid because yeah, because when I watched that show, I was like, I'm too old to be watching this show.
Right.
So I
which
think
is why I did not watch the second season.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah.
So I think the demographic is people that are younger and more dumb.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think that I don't have a problem with that scene because I'm looking at it with the logic of an adult.
Right.
Versus they're worried about the people who are children and also not just children, but children who have a disturbance of some kind who might actually do this. So
right. For sure.
Yeah, so well, whatever. Have you seen that show Euphoria?
No, but I hear great things.
Yeah, I am maybe 3 episodes deep. I think there's only like 4 or 5, but it is so good. I stan Zendaya. I'm a stan now.
Damn, that's awesome. I'm going to check it out because there's not much that I'm watching right now besides Big Little Lies, Los Spookies. Mm-hmm. I haven't started this season of Handmaid's Tale. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
How's it going?
I thought it started off a little bit slow, but this last episode from last week was like, ooh, that shit was a bop.
Okay, that's cool. Then that's kind of one that I like to watch all at once.
Yeah, me too. I usually do too.
So I'm kind of waiting.
Yeah, but me and my mom both looked at each other after that episode ended and we were like, damn, that was a bop.
That's cool. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, me too. She's in a movie that I want to see with, what's her name? Who's going to, with Melissa McCarthy.
On Hulu or
no,
coming
it's
out in theaters?
The theater.
Okay.
Yeah, it's with who else is it? Oh, I gotta look it up because I was like, holy shit, I want to see that movie.
Because I keep getting ads for a movie she's in on Hulu.
Is it the one where it's like she's a rock star and
no,
or a singer or something, and she's like a drug addict?
Oh, maybe it is actually. Looks like that in the front. How about did you see the trailer for that movie Hustlers that came out today with everybody?
I thought the trailer was okay.
Yeah, but it's just exciting that it's this many bomb bitches.
Oh, okay. This is what the movie The Kitchen is. It's Elizabeth Moss, Melissa McCarthy, and Tiffany Haddish.
Oh.
And they're like, they become mobsters.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I want to see that shit.
Yeah, me too. We haven't had a solid mobster movie in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Ever since Scorsese decided to make horror movies.
I don't like that one movie with Leo, Shutter Island.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's so whack. And I actually really like Mark Ruffalo too.
I am whatever about Mark Ruffalo. He seems like a nice, boring
He's
guy.
a nice little Hulk.
I like how he looks with that little like gray on his temples though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd be looking cute. I'm watching the Luis Miguel novela.
May, I saw that on Netflix. I was like, ooh, May must be watching this. Because for those of you who don't know, I use May's Netflix account. I haven't paid for Netflix once in my life. Thank you.
You're a unicorn. You're like what? Or what is it when lesbians call each other like when they haven't had really sex with a man? They're like Goldstar lesbians.
I'm a gold star Netflix user.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but now I don't pay for Apple Music, so.
Oh, so we're even.
You pay for that. We're even.
You're
now.
part of my family. Hey.
And what else? Oh, the thing. Did you hear that story about Mike Fleiss? I don't know if you want to talk about that.
No, what is that? Who's Mike Fleiss?
Heidi Fleiss' cousin. Remember we talked about he's the creator of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette?
No, what happened?
They just got video of him like beating up on his pregnant wife.
Oh my God, May.
Yeah, it was all over the news. I think like last night or earlier in the day yesterday. But she's a former Miss America. She's like 2012's Miss America, and she's pregnant. And he was, I guess, he told her, "You better get an abortion or else."
What? But they're married?
They're married, yeah, and they have one child already.
Oh,
like
wow.
a small child, and he's like, "I'm not having another child with you. Like, you better have an abortion." And like, started manhandling her, and it's caught on the security footage of their home in
Holy shit.
in Hawaii. And so she's like, and she brought the receipts, like she has the bruises and stuff, and she filed for a restraining order. And then he flew to California and like preemptively filed for divorce.
Oh wow.
I don't know why. I wonder why he did that. Getting ahead of it somehow, or I don't know.
Yeah. I guess that's one way to try to get the upper hand, right? Like you file first. So
Be the one that files.
Yeah, I guess.
They have a prenup.
Yeah.
But I bet, the
There's
prenup
got to
can
be
a-
clauses that are like,
Yeah.
all shit is out the window if you beat the shit out of me while I'm pregnant. Sorry, that's
exactly.
fucked up. That's fucking crazy. Did you see that video going viral of like that military dude manhandling his wife in a parking lot and like screaming at everybody?
Did I see that? Why does that sound familiar?
It was going viral maybe like yesterday. It's fucking scary. He's like and then he's wearing like his full military uniform, which I don't know why. Like he's screaming and he's like obviously losing his temper, and like people are stopping, to watch him because they have like a baby.
Oh, you know what? I didn't see that. I was thinking of the Disneyland thing.
Oh no, that Disneyland fight was fucking amazing though. I would love to see a fight at Disneyland. I'm like shocked at how little security there was at Disneyland to deal with that.
I hope they address that situation.
Me too, because don't you think that should have been handled like that fight should have been like 10 minutes shorter than it was?
That is the happiest place on earth. They should have jumped on that shit in like 2 seconds flat.
Hell yeah.
It should have been one of the characters. Like, it should have been like Cruella DeVille jumped in there.
Oh my God, that would have been awesome. Mickey just fucking choke holding that guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hello everyone. My name is Stephanie.
And hi, my name is May, and together we are El Club de Drama, the Drama Club.
Thank you for listening. This is the podcast all about celebrity scandals, gossip, social media,
Fights,
TV,
biographies.
yeah, movies.
The accounts that we steal from each other,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Netflix and or Apple Music.
Do you have your own Hulu account?
Hulu? Yeah.
Why do we both pay for that? That seems stupid.
I don't know. That's so stupid. Do you pay for the one with no ads?
No, I don't.
No, I have the regular one too.
Me too. All right. We could just
Well,
upgrade.
let's upgrade.
My brother and Mateo are on my Hulu too. So I get random like cartoon recommendations all the time. I'm like, the fuck is this children's shit?
I've like forced myself to start watching Hulu more ever since I found like they sent you the recap at the end of the year of like how much you watch. It was like, you watch 17 hours of Hulu, and I was like, really?
That's not enough. Well, that's really sad about that Mike Fleiss guy.
Yeah, I want to get a statement from his cousin Heidi. Heidi, what do you have to say about this motherfucker?
Imagine she comes out and is just like, yeah, fuck that fool.
Yeah, fuck that guy. And he was in the news earlier this year because remember he said some shit about Kelly Ripa?
No, I don't know any of this.
Because Kelly Ripa, it was like a few months ago, Kelly Ripa said something like, oh, she doesn't watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette because it's trashy.
That's true though. Well, I don't not watch it because it's trashy. I don't watch it because it's trash. Like,
yeah.
it's just not a good show.
Well, Mike Fleiss tweeted at her my show pays your salary, basically.
Oh shit! Are they on the same network?
Yeah, they're on ABC.
Oh, that's a power move, though.
And then Ellen Pompeo, because she likes to scrap. She
Oh,
jumped
yeah.
in and she was like, "Fuck you."
That's true, though. Grey's Anatomy has been holding it down for 10 plus years. Y'all better fucking praise that bitch.
Ellen Pompeo was like, "Fuck your bitch," in the clip you claim. But she hopped in and she was like, "Don't talk to her like that." Bang, Grey's Anatomy.
I actually think I will stan Ellen Pompeo. I watched the first few seasons of Grey's Anatomy. It's gone on way too long, but she is an ally and she's like really positive. I don't know. I really like her. Every time I see anything that she says, and she likes to scrap. I like that about her too.
Yeah, the only thing, because I've never seen Grey's Anatomy, the only thing I know about her is that she likes to scrap, so I stan.
But she's always like fighting for people of color, and she's always talking about how unfair shit is in the biz.
Yeah.
So
and
I like
she
that.
went and she notably went black and never came back.
That's true, though.
Her man is
Man. Cut that out.
It's a compliment.
All right. If you say so, bitch.
So the big news this week.
The biggest news of the week is ScarJo. I was about to say our girl, but no. She ain't our girl.
She done it again.
Scarlett Johansson putting her fucking foot in her mouth. I like what you tweeted. And it was like, it astounds me. Like, why not just be quiet? Like,
yes, yeah. Why did she have to? This thing was over. She didn't have to bring it up again. This is so fucking stupid. This is like when you have a fight with your husband, and then like 2 days later, you're like, oh yeah, remember that thing that we had a fight about? Like, why are you gonna bring that shit up again?
You're just gonna muddy the water all over again. Yeah, you haven't moved on.
No sense. Yeah.
So like we all remember, she played a Japanese anime character in a 2017 film, Ghost in the Shell. And then she faced a bunch of criticism for accepting the role of a transgender man, and then she dropped out of that.
Yeah.
Amid the backlash. I'm sorry. I said blacklash.
Blacklash. It was a blacklash though. And a brown lash and a trans lash.
So she's in this month for August, she's in the magazine As If, and she just brought this shit up out of her own accord.
Well, in her defense, they sort of maybe asked her about it. Just a very vague question. Like, what do you think about this move towards this in casting? And then she opened her fucking mouth again.
So she said, the question is, what is acting anyway? You know, as an actor, I should be allowed to play any person or any tree or any animal because that is my job and the requirements of my job.
No.
I feel like political correctness is a trend in my business and it needs to happen for various social reasons. Yet there are times it does get uncomfortable when it affects the art because I feel art should be free of restrictions. And boy, did this shit backlash against ScarJo.
Talk about the most privileged thing she could have said. After did she not learn her lesson? I mean, clearly she didn't.
She doesn't get it. And this is like a common thing with white people is they just don't get it.
Yeah.
They're so fucking privileged. They don't even get the point.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. Like, yeah. And I kind of get what she's trying to say is like, yeah, we don't want everybody to just play themselves because then there's no range, right? Like they're not acting, which is kind of what she's trying to say. But the thing is, there's no level playing field right now.
Yeah.
Like it would be one thing if transgender actors were getting cast as like regular cis genders, right? But they're not. So can they fucking at least get cast as a transgender male? You know what I mean?
100%.
Can we at least cast a black woman to play a black woman? Because she's not getting cast as the fucking Asian anime character that you're getting cast as.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't fucking get it.
And okay, and my favorite thing about this controversy is that every time there's some kind of controversy with ScarJo in our group chat, our friend Tiffany will say, who likes Scarlett Johansson in here? Which is totally a sub at me because I my whole life have been a huge ScarJo stan. Like, I love her.
You said she was your girl crush forever.
She was my girl crush for the longest time. I loved her. But then, like, first of all, she hasn't made a movie that I've been interested in for fucking ever. Maybe Her was like the last one.
Yeah, Her is what I think of, and she's not she's not even really in it.
Yeah.
Like, it could have had Amy Adams just play the voice too, right? Like, fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna fall back on our Amy Adams
slander.
Yeah, fucking Amy Adams out here working, and she's not.
I respect it.
Yeah, I respect it too.
And she's not problematic.
She's not problematic at all. ScarJo.
Yeah.
We were into you. You had like all these great fucking best movies. Lost in Translation. Vicky Cristina Barcelona. What's the fucking tennis one called?
Match Point.
That movie's fucking good.
That movie's great.
Her. I love the Avengers, so I was into that too.
She just had fantastic taste in movies.
Yeah.
For like, she had a like really great run, and it's just, oh God, why are you doing this? You gotta check.
And she
privilege.
defends the shit out of Woody, like.
Yeah,
dude, don't get into it. Like,
right,
she's
doing the most. Exactly, just stay out of it. I know that he did a lot for your career. Obviously, I think that she feels like she owes him a lot.
Yeah,
but then just stay out of it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So ScarJo's canceled, guys.
And you know what? Somebody pointed out on Twitter that it's like, as soon as she became the highest paid actress in Hollywood, money makes you forget, because as a woman, you would think she would at least have a little bit to say about that. As a minority, as a woman, you think like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing too, is everybody, like, the way she kind of has advocated for the women's movement and everything, but only what? White women then?
Only white, yeah.
Only white cis women? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that shit sucked. That was this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now who's gonna fuck Joaquin Phoenix? Oh my god, man. I was laughing so hard in the Fleetwood Mac episode when we were talking about how Bill Clinton's a gangster, and I said his first order of business is to bring back Fleetwood Mac, and his second order of business is to get his dick sucked.
Yeah, that shit was so funny.
Oh my god, I was dying. Oh, I also quickly wanted to say that I've kind of been following the ASAP arrest thing, but I think we should wait and see what pans out.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be a bigger story.
Really?
Yeah, because he's just being held.
He's
in
still
jail.
being held?
Yeah, for weeks now, and they haven't charged him with any fucking crime. So I think this might be like a human rights thing. Yeah.
Somebody call Amal Clooney.
That shit's crazy. Oh my god, if Amal Clooney represents ASAP Rocky, she's a fucking boss.
Have you ever put something like a pencil into your mouth?
All right, so I go first this week. I think.
You sure do.
Okay.
This episode, you get 2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 hoes for the price of 1. Okay, so just some behind the scenes drama club. We are kind of recording these sort
ahead
of
of
like
time.
Yeah, ahead of time. So first of all, if anything happens between like now and when
next
this comes
Thursday,
out,
yeah,
we're gonna be pissed. But anyway, so
nobody say anything.
So I kind of had to like turn this episode out like really quick, like faster than usual. So I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And I was sort of thinking about how on My Favorite Murder, whenever Karen doesn't do her homework, she's like, I'm gonna watch an I Survived.
Yeah.
And just like retell that shit. I was like, what is the drama club equivalent of that? And I was like, I'm gonna watch a True Hollywood, True Hollywood story.
That's what I was gonna say. That or Behind the Music. That's what I would watch.
So then I hadn't had a chance to, I was like kind of busy, so I haven't had a chance to look up. I was going to sit down and look through the episodes of True Hollywood Story when friend of the show, Heidi, randomly out of nowhere messages me a video of like a recap of an episode of Diff'rent Strokes.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, holy shit. This was yesterday. And I was like, you just saved my life, because immediately in my head, I got the image of me being 10 years old and watching the True Hollywood Story of Diff'rent Strokes, because it's fucking
oh my god,
crazy.
man. I don't know any of this stuff, so this is exciting for me.
This episode, the True Hollywood Story is like 2 hours long, so you know it got like fucking drama.
I love the True Hollywood stories when they're still alive and they actually get them on their own True Hollywood.
Yep. This one is one of those.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Yeah, so basically I was right. I rewatched that episode and I did remember correctly. There's fucking drama. So today I'm doing the curse of the cast of Diff'rent Strokes.
Oh, shit, baby.
Have you ever seen this show?
No, I don't think I have.
You know what? I was thinking about that too because I've seen, I don't know, maybe like a dozen episodes. Because I used to, like, I stand Nick at Night. I used to watch like Bewitched.
I used to
and, like,
too, yeah.
I Dream of Jeannie and shit. But I don't think they showed this one for that long. So I didn't watch like that many of them. But I remember still being little and living for this true Hollywood story. That's how you know I like drama.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do some background on the show first because it's interesting how it came about. It was 1978, and there was one man in television who seemed to have the golden touch, Norman Lear. Norman owned the 70s. He was just churning out hit after hit after hit, like All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times, Maude, and Sanford and Sons, among others. You guys, Norman Lear is 96 years old, and he's still as sharp as ever. He's still out here working. He, of course, is behind the Netflix series One Day at a Time with Rita Moreno. And actually, I think former Netflix, because I think they just moved it to like CBS or something. But yeah, he's fucking crazy. So Norman is fucking killing it. Basically, if you try to think of a classic 70s TV show, the chances are pretty great that you're going to think of one of his. Norman's shows are interesting because a lot of them are spin-offs of each other. Like Maude and The Jeffersons are spin-offs of All in the Family. And Good Times is a spinoff of The Jeffersons. And later, The Facts of Life would be spun off from Diff'rent Strokes. But he was really good at finding these character actors or side characters that people really connected with and building a whole other series around them. And one of these character actors was a man named Conrad Bain, who had made several appearances on Maude. Norman was like, I gotta get this guy his own show. And around the same time, Norman's talent scouts found this adorable 8-year-old in a commercial for a bank in Chicago. And they were like, get that kid to LA right fucking now. And that kid's name was Gary Coleman.
Damn.
Gary really stood out because he was really tiny. He would eventually never grow taller than 4 feet 8 inches. Speaking of tiny, that happened this week too. The Bagel Boss.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that asshole. I'm so mad at like people making that motherfucker famous.
Gassing him up, yeah.
Yeah, and he has like bitches and shit now. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's so fucking toxic. Just
yeah,
like,
fuck that fool. Cancel that motherfucker.
yeah, let him crawl back into the hole he came from. Anyway, so Gary was born with segmental glomerulosclerosis, which is a congenital chronic kidney disease. And the treatments, unfortunately, have the side effect of giving him a distinctly baby-looking face, even later, like well into adulthood. And,
Wait, so...
And they keep him short.
Excuse me, May? So he's not a little person?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's just like he has to go on all these steroids to keep his kidneys functioning, and then he has to go on other medications to combat the side effects of the steroids, and it's just all of that contributes to his short stature.
Okay. Interesting.
But Gary had a lot, and I mean a lot of personality. He was such a little character. He was only 8 years old, but he was delivering lines like an old pro. It was amazing and weird because he looks like an overgrown baby. So you've got this little bundle of personality, like a reincarnated vaudeville comedian in the body of a little overgrown black baby. Put all those together, and that's money, baby. So Norman had Gary do a little guest spot on The Jeffersons as George Jefferson's nephew, which I've never seen, and that sounds fucking perfect.
I bet it's amazing.
And of course he kills it, so he's like, fuck, we gotta get this kid a show.
It's gonna be like when Honey Boo Boo was on Toddlers and Tiaras.
Oh yeah, it's
he
just
fucking
magic.
steals the show. Yeah.
But he also had to get that other guy, Conrad Bain, a show. So a few people at his production company came up with the concept that Conrad is this nice, rich, white dude named Mr. Drummond, living in Manhattan with his young daughter, and he adopts his deceased housekeeper's 2 kids from Harlem. And of course, one of these kids is Gary Coleman, whose character's name is Arnold Jackson. They round out the cast by casting a kid named Todd Bridges as Arnold's older brother Willis, and seasoned teen actress Dana Plato as Mr. Drummond's daughter Kimberly. This all comes together very quickly. They shoot the pilot, and literally later that day, the network already ordered 26 episodes.
Holy shit.
Like, that never happens.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, so they knew they had a hit from the moment that they saw like the cast together on the stage. They were like, okay, we got this. Mm-hmm. And it was a huge hit. Gary Coleman had the catchphrase, "What you talking about, Willis?" That became huge.
It's still, people still say that from time to time now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's inescapable. Like, if you may have never seen or even heard of Diff'rent Strokes.
Like me, I've never seen the show.
But you've heard someone say, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Yeah, and you know Gary Coleman because of the
Right.
show.
Yeah. So I think that I read that Gary was on the last episode of Fresh Prince, and they make him say, they're like, "Oh, what you talking about, Will?" or something at the end of it, because it's just like,
Aw.
yeah. So anyway, the show also became notorious for its very special episodes. You know, those like cheesy episodes of sitcoms that present something serious is supposed to teach you a lesson.
Oh yeah, like every episode of This Is Us.
Yes. Oh, you're right. Every episode of This Is Us is a very special episode. So the big ones on Diff'rent Strokes were one about drugs. It featured a guest appearance by then First Lady Nancy Reagan.
Oh, of course. Fucking war on drugs, motherfuckers.
Just say no, ass bitch. And of course, they have him say, "What you talk about, Mrs. Reagan?"
Iconic.
And one about a pedophile that wants to touch Gary Coleman and eventually touches his little friend. This was the episode recap that Hyder sent me.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. What the fuck?
It's,
That's kind of heavy.
it's super cheesy and weird, but it actually low-key does a good job of showing you how a pedophile can groom a child.
Oh, that's good.
Because in the episode, the pedo, he's like a bicycle salesman, and he says something like, "I can give you a free radio if you give out flyers for my bicycle shop."
Oh.
And then like when he does it, he's like, "Okay, but don't tell your don't tell your parents I gave you this free radio." And then so next time he invites the kids over to his house, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to show you porn, but don't tell your parents." And then it sort of like escalates and escalates.
That's scary.
And it's really weird because, I mean, this is still a sitcom. This is, you know, a 70s sitcom filmed in front of a live studio audience. So people are like laughing,
Oh.
you know, like Gary picks up it's supposed to be like a hustler magazine, like a titty magazine. And he's like, "Look at those bazungas," or something. And the studio audience is like, "Ha ha ha," and like clapping and stuff. Anyway, if you haven't seen that episode, I'd suggest at least watching a recap of it on YouTube because it's wild.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, bloop. The theme song to Diff'rent Strokes was written by Alan Thicke for some reason.
Whoa.
And
That's a bop.
it kind of slaps though.
That's amazing. Let's buy the rights to that shit. You know, we could probably afford it.
Anyway, and if I can't afford it, then I guess I'm gonna steal it.
Just kidding. We can't afford it. Leave us a tip on our website, dramaclubpod.com.
Hey. Oh, and thank you to the people who are doing that.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
Okay, anyway, so we've got this huge hit TV show on our hands and 3 new wildly rich and famous child stars in Gary, Todd, and Dana. But little did we know that behind the scenes, all 3 of these kids would turn out to be cursed.
Dun, dun, dun.
So first of all, little Gary. As we know, he was born sick, but also his birth parents quickly gave him up.
What?
Yeah. My first instinct is to say that that's sad, but I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? They obviously did the right thing. They knew that they couldn't care for a sick child, and they
Yeah,
gave
so
him
he
up,
was
you know?
adopted?
Yeah, he was adopted.
Okay, so that's not so bad, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked out because his adopted parents seemed like a good fit, especially his mother, because she was a nurse practitioner. So
wow. She knew how to deal with all this?
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
she eventually left her work to take care of him full time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. By the time he was 4, one of his kidneys failed him and he needed a transplant.
So this is like a super rare condition then that he has?
Yeah,
Wow,
it's super rare.
That's
And
so crappy.
It sucks. It's just he got dealt such a bad hand like from the jump, you know?
Right.
So one of his kidneys failed him at 4 and he needed a transplant. But even after the transplant, he was still forced to undergo basically constant grueling dialysis sessions like every single day.
Wow.
Even when he was working 10, 12, 16-hour days on set, all while being in the public eye.
And dialysis like really takes it out of you.
One of the worst things that you could ever put your body through. And
Right. So that's insane.
And this is a child, and he's working more than full time, and he's doing this.
That's fucking crazy.
It's a lot. All right, so Todd Bridges. On the surface, at least, he seemed to have it a little bit easier. He came from a show business family. His mom was an actress, director, and manager who, fun fact, was Regina King's mentor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she must be so fucking proud of her.
Yeah.
His dad was a talent agent, and he and all of his siblings were working child actors and models. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that Todd's dad was a raging alcoholic and was very physically abusive, with almost all of the abuse being directed at Todd and his mother.
Wow.
One of his older siblings talks about how they didn't get it as bad because they were all a little bit older, and actually there was just two of them, so it was like her and her older brother, and she was like, my older brother was already practically out the door. And like I was a little bit older, so I didn't get it when it started to get bad, like when he started beating up on Todd, and she starts crying because she's like, he was just a baby, and he would direct all his rage at him.
That's sad.
So yeah, so Todd was the baby of the family, so he couldn't escape. And his sister says that in the mornings they try to wake up as soon as possible to try to either get out of the house or like just like surround Todd, because they knew that as soon as the dad woke up, he would start like pounding on him.
Wow.
So not only that, but at age 11, just a couple years before he started appearing on Diff'rent Strokes, he was sexually abused by a friend of the family / colleague of his father's.
Holy shit.
And when he told his parents, his father didn't believe him.
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst.
He said his mom immediately was like, I'm going to kill that motherfucker. Like, she literally left the house looking for that fool. And then the dad was like, that's just not true.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So Todd definitely had some baggage that no one really knew that he was dealing with. Unlike Gary's health trauma, which was all on the surface for everyone to see. Eventually, when he was 17, his parents got divorced, and it devastated him because despite the abuse, he really did love his father.
Wow.
So Todd was dealing with his rocky home life, school, and the stress of his full-time job all at the same damn time. And he started to turn to drugs to help deal with all of this. He was able to keep his drug use under wraps on set because he was able to function very well while on the drugs, which is the scariest type of addict.
Yep.
But yeah, no one at work knew. Dana, on the other hand, had a pretty idyllic childhood, especially when you contrast it to what was going on with her co-stars. She grew up in the San Fernando Valley after being adopted at 7 months old by her parents. They broke up when she was 3, but she lived with her mom, who started taking her to auditions since she was very young because she'd shown an interest, and she started booking commercials at age 7. By the time she started Diff'rent Strokes at age 14, she'd done over 100 commercials and booked a few small roles on film and TV. All this while being an accomplished figure skater trying for a spot on the Olympic team. She might have actually made it, but I think that acting took up a lot of her time. So the kids, Gary, Todd, and Dana, got along really well, almost like real siblings. They said that they would have like these knockdown, drag out fights, but they'd forget about it like an hour later, like just like real brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They also looked up to Conrad Bain and really did see him as a father figure because they were all working so much that they didn't get to see their real parents as much anymore.
Wow.
Conrad even had to check them after the success of the first season when they started ordering people around and getting all Hollywood. Eventually, Gary was one of the highest paid actors on TV and was making $100,000 an episode.
What?
This is in 1978, 79.
And how old is he?
He's like 10 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, you got a catchphrase. When you got a catchphrase, you're fucking making money, you know?
Fuck yeah, he's making money.
And Dana and Todd were making around $25,000 an episode, so they were all fucking ballin'.
Hell yeah.
And they couldn't walk down the street without being mobbed by fans. And the fame was starting to affect them. Gary, in particular, was now the biggest child star in the world, something that hadn't been seen since, like, Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
But, of course, he's still dealing with his disease, and production even had to go on hold for a while in 1984 when he needed another kidney transplant at age 16. Unfortunately, less than a year later, his new kidney began to fail.
Wow.
What you talking about, kidney? So his health continues to work against him, and he's depressed because as he gets older, he's forced to keep playing a small child on the show because the writers didn't really age his character as the show went on.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, because they kind of took advantage of the fact that he looked the way that he looked, and they were like, we're just going to keep writing him as a baby. In 1986, at the end of the show's 8th season, the show was finally canceled, which allowed 19-year-old Gary to finally move on with his career. But he only got offered roles as small children, which infuriated him, and it really took a toll on his mental health. Not only that, but Gary discovered that his finances were being mishandled by his business managers and his parents.
What?
Because his parents were also his personal managers.
Right.
So he fired his parents and filed a restraining order against his father. And 2 years later, Gary filed a lawsuit against his former management team, including his parents, for misappropriation of his finances. And the court eventually awarded him $1.3 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So it was really bad then.
It was really I was thinking that, like, for them to really go out there and give the full amount that he was asking for and everything, it must have been well documented that something bad was going on. His parents contend that they never intentionally stole from Gary. And actually, the courts agreed, and I do believe them, because his mom especially sounds so sincere whenever she's being interviewed.
Right.
She just says basically, like, yes, we were his managers, and that was dumb on our side because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We shouldn't have done that. So when the other people, his business managers who really were stealing from him, were like, you guys have to do A, B, and C, they were like, of course, because...
Yeah, because they're telling us to.
So it sucks, and he never really regained the relationship with his parents. So
oh no,
yeah. So he got his money, but it cost him his only family.
Yeah,
but his parents did do one thing that I thought was kind of shady during the suit. They tried to have the court appoint a conservator over Gary, just like Britney Spears, because they claimed that he was incompetent.
Oh wow.
But the judge called Gary back to his chambers and within 20 minutes came back out and was like, nah, he's fine. Like, because like when you hear him speak, he's very smart and he's very articulate because he's had to live in this grown up world since he was 8 years old, you know?
Yeah.
He just looks like a kid. So
yeah,
I thought that was kind of shitty though.
Yeah.
Also around this time, shortly before the show ended, Todd was pulled over by the LAPD for speeding and they found a loaded handgun in his car.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
So he caught a gun charge and got a year probation and a small fine. That's when Todd says that he began to endure systematic harassment at the hands of the LAPD.
Oh.
And this is something that he's been very vocal about since it was happening. So it's not like he's trying to rewrite history or anything here. But yeah, he claims he was shot at, that he was pulled over literally every single day for well over a year. And remember, this is at the height of his fame as a TV star. A particularly bad incident was when he and his brother and a friend were driving his Porsche and it broke down on the side of the road right down the street from his house. So they started to push it back up to the house when police rolled up on him and said that the car had been reported stolen.
What?
Which obviously is impossible because it's his fucking car.
Yeah.
And the license plate was, it said Todd on it.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so yeah, they told him that the car had been reported stolen. They cuffed him and his brother and roughed them up a little and threw them in the back of the cop car. Their friend, who was white, asked if he was being arrested too, and they said no because there was no proof that he was stealing the car. So the friend was like, okay, so I can leave? And they said, yeah. And then he ran to Todd and his brother's mom's house. And he was like, you gotta come. And like the mom came and was like, you better get like the cuffs off my fucking sons. Like she got all in their faces and shit. And all the neighbors and stuff, because I mean, the family lives there. So all the neighbors came out and they were like, let those fucking boys go. And like,
yeah, like what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, it was, but it traumatized Todd.
Of course, because that's the problem with, I mean, that's not the only problem, but like police brutality is so emotionally or psychologically scarring because these people are supposed to protect us.
Right. And it's so insidious. Like, this is a young man who will never trust the police again.
Of course.
And we'll see what happens to him. It's just like, it's this one incident, not this one incident, but it definitely added to the problems that he had later.
Right.
So Todd filed a suit against the LAPD, and he says, unfortunately, the harassment got worse following the suit, so he eventually had to drop it. Plus, his drug use started to increase.
Oh, man.
And this was just as the show ended, and he realized that he wasn't able to get acting work because everyone saw him as Willis, so things were starting to spiral for him.
Wow.
After a dispute, he called in a bomb threat to his car customizer, and he got sentenced to 1 year in jail.
Oh, man.
But the judge suspended the sentence and gave him 3 years probation instead. Later, he was arrested for the third time in 4 years and caught a reckless driving charge. And this pushed him into a huge depression, and his drug use escalated from cocaine to crack, and he really transitioned from a functioning addict to a full-blown junkie.
Oh, man.
A couple more arrests followed, and in February 1989, 23-year-old Todd, which this is crazy because he'd literally just been on TV 3 years before. Anyway, Todd found himself in a crack house, something that by that time was part of his everyday life.
Oh my God. And Nancy Reagan had been on the show and shit. That's fucking crazy, man.
He did it just to spite her.
Holy shit.
So he was in this crack house, and the owner of the house, a man named Tex Clay, was shot 8 times. And when the police got there, Tex fingered Todd as the shooter.
What?
And they arrested him for attempted murder.
Oh my God.
Todd claims that he doesn't remember anything after entering the crack house, but figures that he was too high to function and too high to have done anything but lay in the corner and get high anyway.
Right.
So he's like, I'm innocent. Like,
yeah.
There's no way. Bail was set at $2 million, which of course Todd no longer had because he spent all his money on fucking drugs.
Right.
So he sat in jail for almost 10 months. But then his mom went out and got him a defense attorney with a tough reputation who seemed like he was just itching to take on his first of what would become many high-profile celebrity cases.
Uh-oh.
And that man was Johnny Cochran.
Oh my God, man. What the fuck?
So Johnny was like already a high-powered lawyer here in LA, but he was like, I gotta, take the shit to the next level. And when he saw the opportunity to defend a celebrity, he was like, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
So Johnny says that he knew they were good when during jury selection, one of the jurors said, I can be fair to Willis. So he was like, Willis? Oh, okay, we got this. Also, they got kind of lucky because a neighbor came forward to say they saw Todd outside the house right around the time the shots took place.
Hell yeah.
So the jury acquitted him, and friends got him an acting job on the new Lassie to get him back on his feet.
Oh, that's nice.
It was really nice. The guy who did that was one of the producers on Diff'rent Strokes, and he's interviewed on the True Hollywood Story, and he says that like literally the next day after he was acquitted, he got Todd on the phone and he was like, if you can work Tuesday through Friday, you have a fucking job here.
Oh.
So he's working on Lassie, but 9 months later, he was arrested with 48 grams of cocaine.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
So he fell right back into his old habits. Although those charges were eventually dropped, he was later arrested at age 27 with 1.5 grams of meth.
Whoa.
A couple of months after that, he spent a couple nights in jail after he stabbed a friend named David Kitchen in the chest with a kitchen knife.
Oh, God. It's like a fucking play.
He got out after it was determined that he was acting in self-defense after David attacked him with a sword. But it was this event that really made Todd realize that he'd hit rock bottom, and he was like, I'm fucking done with drugs. And when he faced the judge about the meth charge from a few months before, the judge ordered him to go to rehab, and he was like, yeah, I'm ready. And like he went to rehab and stayed clean for good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good turnaround.
All it took was having to stab his friend in the chest.
Kitchen with a kitchen knife.
Dana never even really got to finish shooting Diff'rent Strokes with her co-stars because in 1984 she was 20 years old and found out she was preguetón.
Uh-oh.
The network didn't think that a pregnant Kimberly Drummond was right for the show. So she was quickly fired.
Girl, you ain't the one from Harlem, so you can't have your ass pregnant on the show.
Yeah, you're not a teen mom in the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she was furious, of course, that she got fired. And in an attempt to turn things around for herself, she eloped with her baby daddy, Lanny Lambert, in Las Vegas. The marriage didn't work out, and they divorced soon after her son Tyler was born. Now, out of work and desperate, Dana started drinking. Again, this is wild because less than 2 years before, she was a huge TV star. Almost from one day to another, Dana becomes a full-blown alcoholic.
Fuck.
A friend says that she was drinking a gallon of vodka and a 6-pack a day.
What the fuck?
And Todd says that she was doing coke and crack already by that time because guess who he was doing coke and crack with?
Oh my God.
And in 1988, Dana's mom died of a rare blood disease, and that was really when shit started going like super bad for her. She voluntarily gave up her son to his paternal grandparents because she could barely take care of herself.
Wow.
She was completely broke, and in 1989, at 24, she decided to pose for Playboy to try to jumpstart her career. But it didn't work. If anything, it broke off the last link to that child star image that might have gotten her gigs if she managed to stay sober long enough.
Oh, man.
So Dana moves to Vegas and takes a $5 an hour job at a drive-through dry cleaner and spends this bitch was making 25 grand a week.
That's crazy, May.
Yeah, now she's making 200, if that. Anyway, so she spends her free time drinking and playing nickel slots.
Oh, no.
She had to quit her dry cleaning job after getting into a fight with a coworker, and her $500 rent was past due, so she got desperate. After getting rejected for a job picking up trash at a nearby apartment complex, things took a dark turn. On a morning in February of 1991, dressed all in black, Dana robbed a video store at gunpoint, taking just about $160 from the register.
Shut the fuck up, May.
$160.
How old is she now?
She's 24, I think.
So
Yeah,
this is like 5 years past the show?
Yeah, maybe even less.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she just like, and the worker at the video store said she was so cool about it. She just like showed up and she like flashed the gun and was like, "Give me your money." Like,
Yeah.
she had done it like a million times.
That's fucking crazy.
So Dana made her getaway, and the video store employee called 911. She said, quote, and they have the audio, which is great.
Uh-huh.
She says, "I've just been robbed by the girl who played Kimberly on Diff'rent Strokes." The 911 operator, of course, didn't believe her and kept asking her questions. Like, she was like, "You're fucking crazy." No, And then, but finally, they dispatched the cops who caught up with Dana around 15 minutes later when she showed back up at the scene of the crime in a different outfit.
What? Why?
Dana says
she's gonna rent a movie now?
Dana said that she realized that she did something wrong and was going to give the money back. But it seems more likely that she was on her way to the bar next door where she usually hung out at and was like, that was going to be her alibi.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so she was charged for robbery with a deadly weapon. Considering how dire the situation was, she actually looks nice in her mugshot.
Okay.
Bail was set at 13 grand, which of course she did not have. And so she sat in
She's
jail.
only got $160 if she stole.
Oh, and she tried to say, I don't buy that she was trying to bring the money back because they found the money on her. She's like, what? I just got paid this morning. That's my money.
Oh my gosh.
And then the video store employee was like, actually, is it like 320s, 510s?
Oh my God.
And they were like, yeah. So she was ready to spend who knows how long in jail, but she actually only ended up staying for 5 days because on day 5, her bail was paid by Wayne Newton.
What?
For no reason. They didn't know each other.
What the fuck? Wayne Newton's a weirdo.
And Dana must have said, Danke Shane.
He probably liked the show.
Well, he says that, he was a young performer too. So
Yeah.
he said he just like felt for her. He just knew that they used her and spit her out. And
Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
anyway, so Dana was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but the judge suspended the sentence and she was placed on 5 years probation, ordered to undergo counseling and to do community service. So she got off like super light.
Hell yeah.
Dana unfortunately became addicted to Valium that was prescribed to her during the counseling. When her therapist cut her off, she went into withdrawal and stole a prescription pad from her ex-father-in-law and wrote herself a prescription for 100 Valium with 10 refills, which is ridiculous. No doctor would ever write that, but she actually got some pharmacists to fill it.
That's amazing.
Because that's Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
And she actually filled it 4 times before she got caught and faced 86 years in prison now.
Oh, wow.
Because she was on probation and
Yeah.
She pled guilty and only got 5 years probation and a $2,000 fine. They sent her to rehab and she actually got clean there.
Good.
In 1998, Dana did her most notorious film to date, a softcore porn called Diff'rent Strokes.
Oh my God.
The story of Jack and Jill, ellipses, and Jill.
Oh my God.
She also came out as a lesbian on the cover of Girlfriends magazine,
Okay.
but later took it back and got engaged to a guy named Fred Potts.
Okay.
Also in 1998, 30-year-old Gary Coleman, who up until now had avoided being on the wrong side of the law, unlike his co-stars, turned himself into the police after a strange incident. I remember this happening when I was a kid, and I can't believe that he was the age that I am now. It shook me. Anyway, Gary was working as a security guard at the Fox Hills Mall.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And
my God.
A fan came up to him, and they had words, and he ended up punching her in the face.
What?
Yeah. He testified that she, who really was a rather large woman compared to him, was like invading his space, and when he said he wouldn't sign an autograph, like she started getting like kind of physically like more and more in his space, and that he got scared and punched her.
Wow.
He was ultimately ordered to pay her hospital bills and to take anger management classes. The next year, he filed for bankruptcy after losing $200,000 on an arcade. On an arcade, not at an arcade, just FYI. that he built in Marina Del Rey, which didn't work out. That's when he started selling random shit of his online, like his pants, just so that he could continue to pay for his medical bills.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, Todd actually saved a woman's life at Lake Balboa here in the valley.
Oh, I remember that.
I'd never heard of this.
Yeah, she was in a wheelchair or something, right?
Yes. So she was fishing, which is that this story is so weird to me. She fishing by herself in a wheelchair.
Yeah. I mean, they gotta have hobbies too, man. Fuck. You're a bitch.
So the wheelchair fell over and she was trapped underwater, and Todd and his brother happened to be there, and they like saved her life.
That's fucking crazy, right?
It's so crazy.
That's so crazy.
The story was in the LA Times, and it was like a cute little story and shit.
You think you would react fast enough to save someone's life?
No, I know I wouldn't. Because I've seen shit happen before, and my thought is, oh, someone should do something.
Yeah, I know I wouldn't too, because I'm scared of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh, what? Like, I just like, I don't know. But one time we went camping, and this was a long time ago, because my baby cousin Gabby, who's now 20, she was probably like 4, and we went to a lake, and she like just ran, like she was just a little kid. So she just saw the water and got excited and like ran straight into the lake, and we were all like at the cars still getting all the stuff out of the trunk, and Carlos, so we were probably like 17 or 18 at the time, fucking dropped everything he had and sprinted to the lake and fucking pulled her out of the water. It was crazy. Like, he saved her life.
He's a hero.
I know. And I always think, because like everybody was like, because you hesitate, like, you know, like
you're in shock for a second, and you're like, did what I see happen really just happen?
Yeah, but some people just have that instinct. Shit's amazing.
I'm buy Carlos a shot next time I see him. All right, so Dana, in May of that same year, she went on the Howard Stern show to talk about the roller coaster that her life was, and she claimed that she'd been sober for years at this point, except for the painkillers that she was taking after recently getting her wisdom teeth removed. So like the callers to Howard's show started calling in and started insulting her and saying that she was full of shit, that she definitely wasn't sober. They were questioning her sobriety, and they were, you know, calling her washed up, lesbian, like go somewhere and like die or something. Like, it was getting really bad. It was so bad that Howard was like, I think this is too much. Like, he said it on the air.
Yeah.
Which, if you know Howard Stern,
he's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. But he was like, come on, guys. Like, this is too much. Anyway, she offered to take a drug test on the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she left Howard a little lock of her hair for him to have it tested. But then after the interview, off the air, she asked for it back. So Howard says that he was like, oh, she's not fucking sober.
Yeah,
you know?
of course not.
So the next day, she died alone in her motorhome of an overdose of Vicodin and Valium. Her death was ruled a suicide. She was 34.
Oh my God, May. That's so sad.
Yeah.
You know that the show contributed to that.
Yeah, because they pushed her.
And you would think that fucking Howard Stern.
Yeah.
I don't like really that guy.
Sad. And I don't remember if it was like her mother-in-law, her ex-mother-in-law, the one who's taking care of the baby. She says that she called her after the show and she was just like in tears and crying. But she said that she didn't think that it was, you know,
like gonna lead to that. I mean, because nobody thinks that, you know.
Yeah. And actually, her family, they question whether it was a suicide. They just think it was an accident.
An accident?
Yeah. But anyway, her son, Tyler, the baby, he died in 2010, almost exactly 11 years to the day at age 25, also of a suicide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's really sad. I saw another show. It's like a true Hollywood story type thing, just on her. But it was on like biography or something. And he's a little bit older in it. It's like a couple years before he died, and he's giving his interview, and you can tell like he just had a sad life because he just wanted his mom and he loved her.
Yeah.
He didn't blame her, but he just like he loved her so much, you know.
Yeah.
And
So he had this empty heart.
Yeah, and she never could be there for him, and it's just, it was shitty. Gary Coleman ran for governor of California in 2003.
That's when everybody ran, right?
Yeah, when everyone ran during the recall election that gave us Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. And in 2004, the Tony Award-winning musical Avenue Q featured the character of Gary Coleman.
Oh.
The creators stated that they contacted Gary to see if he'd like to play himself, but he never showed up to the scheduled meeting. That's really shitty. Why didn't he do that?
Yeah.
Gary would later announce his intention to sue. He never got a chance to. He moved to Utah not too long after that, where he met and married a young lady named Shannon Price. The two did not have a good relationship, though, and it's said that Shannon would physically abuse him in public.
What?
Gary caught a disorderly conduct charge in connection to a public fight that he had with Shannon right before they got divorced. In January 2010, Gary had a seizure, but seemed to recover fine. But then in February, he had another one on the set of the entertainment news show The Insider. Again, he seemed to fully recover. But in May, he fell down the stairs of his Utah home, possibly after suffering another seizure, and died in the hospital 2 days later. He was 42.
Wow. But that was related to his health problems, right?
Yeah. It's just...
He wasn't like a drug addict, right?
He didn't use drugs at all. He couldn't because he was so sick his whole life, you know?
Okay.
But, you know, if your electrolytes are off, your kidneys stop working, they haven't been working since you were fucking 4 years old, eventually that's going to affect your brain function and, you know, seizures.
Yeah,
it's kind of inevitable. That leaves Todd Bridges as the only surviving member of the cast.
Wow.
He's kept busy and, most importantly, sober.
Good.
And he's doing literally any reality or panel show anyone has offered him since the early 2000s.
That's good, though. I always, like, when I see people like that who are trying to turn their life around, I'm like, good. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm glad that fucking Big Brother and, like, all those little shows exist, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He beat Vanilla Ice on Celebrity Boxing.
Perfect.
He did Fear Factor. He did Skating with Celebrities.
Nice.
World's Dumbest. And he was on Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling.
Oh, interesting.
Where he hit Tanya Harding with a lead pipe, which is just about the happiest ending I can pull out of this story. So that's the curse of Diff'rent Strokes.
That's crazy, man. I didn't know all of that stuff. That's fucking wild.
So it's sad, but...
It's really sad, but I mean... See, and it's funny because it's true. Like, but after Shirley Temple... You kind of you didn't see like child actors for a long ass time. And then in the 80s, there was this like resurgence of fucking child actors all over the place and movies with kids and shit.
And in I don't know, it might have been the late 90s, 2000s. Remember VH1 would do those like 100 greatest, whatever.
Yeah.
They did 100 greatest child stars and Gary Coleman was number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I got to watch the show.
He was like, freakishly famous. We don't know because we weren't there, but like, he was an icon.
That's fucking insane.
And then after that, I don't think we get anyone like that until maybe like a Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
He was like our generation's Gary Coleman.
Yeah. Or like the Brady Bunch. No, the Brady Bunch kids weren't single like famous like that. Yeah. That's tight.
Taking a bite of someone else's food is another way you may get germs into your body.
All right. Well, I got a story for you too.
All right.
And like I mentioned, I think in the AD, I already said what I was going to do or that I had been doing research. Okay. So I'm going to do the story of Karen Carpenter.
Yes.
I got this from an article in The Guardian called Karen Carpenter's Tragic Story by Randy Schmidt. The documentary Superstar by Todd Haynes, which... Hey. I didn't finish it, man. That thing...
It's ridiculous, huh?
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it wasn't giving me any new information, like you said. Yeah. I also watched this like BBC documentary on YouTube called Goodbye to Love. And it's kind of cheesy. Like they recreate like a lot of like moments with actors. So
okay.
It's still good though. I like because they also show like real interviews and real performances, which that's the best part is watching the performances of her because her voice is so fucking crazy.
It's like the most beautiful voice.
Yeah, it's insane.
I saw what got me into the Carpenters when I was a little kid was a Lifetime movie, I think.
Yeah. All right. So Karen Ann Carpenter was born in 1950 in Connecticut, and she has one older sibling, a brother named Richard Carpenter, very, very famous. He became interested in music really early on and became a piano prodigy as a child.
Ooh.
Their parents say that Karen's first words were bye-bye and stop it in response to Richard always playing music.
That's dope.
Isn't that so cute?
I hope she continued to say that for the rest of her life. She was talking to him, bye-bye, stop it.
The family moved to Downey in 1963 in California. Yeah, shout out to Downey. After their dad got a job down there. So Karen and her brother went to Downey High School, and Karen joined the school band where she began playing the drums.
Cool.
Karen says herself that she always looked up to Richard, and she kind of always wanted to do everything that he did. So it was kind of natural for her to kind of fall into music because that's what he was into. So she graduated from Downey High School in the spring of '67 and received a band award. And while she was in high school, she was a little bit... The thing is, Karen's never heavy, so I don't want to say that. She's just normal.
Yeah.
But she wanted to lose weight. So she began dieting. She went to her family doctor, and he put her on the Stillman diet, which is basically what we know as the Atkins diet, high protein, low carb, where people eat like 6 small meals.
Yeah.
Lucas got mad at that.
Wait, but he put her, like, he said, okay, yeah,
you should do this diet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when she started the diet, she was 5'4" and weighed 145 pounds. While on the diet, she quickly lost 25 pounds and she remained around 120. Wow. But 25 pounds is a lot to ask of your body.
That is so much, especially when you're 5'4".
Right. She was accepted to Long Beach State and performed in the choir with her brother Richard. Her choir director and everybody pretty much realized that she had a crazy good voice and she was really good at doing low sounding octaves. So he gave her a lot of lessons to develop her octave range and helped her really tailor her craft. Karen's first band was an all-girl trio with 2 girlfriends from Downey High called 2+2.
Ooh.
They broke up after she insisted that her brother Richard join the group.
Wait, hold up. It was a trio and it was 2+2?
Yeah, that was the name of the band.
That shit don't add up.
In 1965, Karen, her brother Richard, and his friend Wes formed the Richard Carpenter Trio. They began rehearsing daily and played jazz clubs around town. And at first, Karen was only playing the drums, and they would have like guest singers on some of their songs. And they were doing pretty good. They got on a talent show on TV called Your All-American College Show, and they signed a small contract with RCA Records.
Ooh, how the fuck do you not have Karen singing your songs?
Right?
That doesn't make any sense.
But Karen wanted to be a drummer too. So it kind of didn't make sense for her to be a singer and the drummer because you want the singer in the front and the drummer in the back, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It was like kind of off. In April 1966, Wes left the band to study at Juilliard. So Karen and Richard just started jamming out to other musical styles, just the two of them. And they started a band called Spectrum, which was getting rejected left and right by every record company. At the time, psychedelic rock was kind of becoming popular in clubs and shit, and their sound was way off.
Oh, yeah. They're like dorks.
Yeah. They finally signed to A&M Records in 1969 as The Carpenters.
Hey.
Karen was playing the drums and singing from behind her kit. And she ended up singing most of the band's first album, and her brother wrote most of it. And their first track was a Beatles cover for Ticket to Ride, which is really good, actually.
Okay.
In 1970, they released a follow-up album called Close to You with 2 major fucking #1 hits, They Long to Be Close to You and We've Only Just Begun.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the songs. If you think of the Carpenters, it's pretty much...
Superstar.
Superstar, yeah.
Yeah. And We've Only Just Begun. Those are my 2.
Rainy Days and Mondays. Those are the ones you... Like, that's so, like, iconic Carpenters sound.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, nobody else could do that. I don't know. So those two songs catapulted their fame. They were number one, and they were playing shows around town, but it was super hard for the audience to see Karen from behind her drum kit. So their manager persuaded her to stand at the microphone and sing the hits at the front while somebody else plays the drums while they perform.
Okay.
She struggled at first because she wasn't a lead singer, and she liked being behind the drum kit because it was kind of like a safety net.
I was going to say, I don't know if this is good for her.
It's not good for her.
She loses that safety of being behind the drum kit. Now she's going to be even more self-conscious about her body.
Yeah, she's already somebody who is kind of self-conscious because I mean, like, if you're trying to diet in high school, I think it's not a great sign.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just putting her at the forefront, you have to be you have to have, like, great fucking confidence to be a good lead singer.
You have to want it. It can't be like someone should have to push you to do it.
Yeah, because that just leads to problems.
Yeah.
So after the next album, Now and Then, she sang more and more and drummed less and less and really became the focal point for the Carpenters. She was basically what everybody watched. I mean, like, Richard, who cares?
Yeah, he was there, I guess.
I know, but like, you don't really look at him.
Right. Who gives a fuck about Richard?
Yeah. Karen still, though, considered herself a drummer, and she would try to position drums around the stage when they live performed so she could walk around and play various configurations.
Oh, that's cool. I saw most Stef do that.
Yeah. At this time, they were one of the biggest selling American musical acts, and they stood in direct contrast to all of the rock that was dominating the charts at the time.
Yeah.
So kind of like how you said they're like cheesy. Like, I read a lot of critics comment on how like the Carpenters were so fucking famous and like it didn't make sense. Because it was kind of like you were a nerd if you liked the Carpenters. Like, it wasn't cool to like the Carpenters, but they've gone down like as these icons, you know?
Because it's undeniable. Like, there's certain things that don't have to be cool.
Yeah, because,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just that good.
Yeah.
Karen had a complicated relationship with her parents, too. So her mom and dad thought that Richard was definitely going to be this, like, musician, that he was going to be recognized in the music world, but they really weren't prepped for all of Karen's success. And like I said, Karen ended up becoming like basically the lead of this band. So they were kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
And Karen had struggled with low self-esteem and always thought that her mom favored Richard, which in almost everything I saw, it looks like she definitely does. And their mom's name is Agnes. So Karen lived with her parents up until 1974. Like, she was like 28 by then. And she realized it wasn't healthy for her to be there all the time, like constantly seeking their approval and their attention. So in 1976, she moved out and she bought 2 Century City apartments that she combined into one. And the doorbell played the opening notes of We've Only Just Begun.
Baller move. I've
Isn't
with
that
it.
so cute?
Karen, that is sick as fuck.
I know.
Hey. Century City, though, I don't know.
In the 70s?
Yeah, but at least, all right. She's not the coolest. She's not going out like getting wasted in West
hell
Hollywood.
no.
So
no,
you know what?
no.
This is
She's
fine.
crocheting and shit. She collected Disney memorabilia and shit. No, she really did. And she liked baseball.
She good.
Yeah. So in 1973, while the Carpenters were at their peak, Karen was shown a picture of herself taken at a concert where she thought she looked a little heavy.
No.
And remember, she had been on that Stillman diet basically since the time she was 17. So she was still weighing around 120 pounds at this time, which is pretty low for someone who's 5'4". But the picture made her, you know, think that she was fat. So
if you already have this like kernel of something in your mind and then you see like all it takes is one bad angle.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
To make you think like, I'm right. I knew it.
Yeah. So she hired a personal trainer, and the personal trainer advised her to change her diet in order to build muscle, which ended up making her look heavier rather than slimmer. So she fucking lost it, fired her trainer, and just was like, I'm going to do this shit on my own. So she kept on exercising, but now kept calorie counting as she had before, and ended up losing another 20 pounds.
No.
At first, people around her would compliment her because she had been working hard, and I think that kind of like riled her up.
Yeah. And her mom too, huh?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So she just kept at it because she wanted to just keep losing weight.
Right.
Her friends said that they noticed her eating habits changing around this time, and she would get food off of her own plate by offering it to everybody around her as a taste.
Oh, yeah.
So she would like shovel.
Common, right?
Yeah, they like do funny stuff with their food. So she would like shove like shit off her plate onto other people's plates and be like, oh my God, this is so good. Taste it. She would complain about eating on tour all the time, saying that it's so hard to eat well while on tour. So she would make excuses for eating at all. Like, there's nothing healthy around to eat, or I can't eat before I sing because I'm not going to sing well. Or after the show, she'd be like, well, it's too late now, so I can't eat, you know?
Yeah.
So she's starting to exhibit like super bad behavior with her eating. In the mid 1970s, Richard became addicted to Quaaludes.
Oh, no.
Leading them to frequently canceled tour dates. In the documentary I saw, it actually looked like his mom gave him his first Quaalude because he was just having trouble sleeping and resting because they were working like nonstop.
Yeah. Damn, he's so boring. He got addicted to the most boring ass drug.
So they were canceling a bunch of tour dates, and then they stopped touring altogether after their 1978 concert. So Karen's close friends, Olivia Newton-John and Dionne Warwick, sorry. I'm like, why can't I pronounce this? They all said that Karen was like a pioneer at this time. Like, she was one of the only she was the only like female drummer, basically.
Yeah.
Because all the only men were drummers at this time.
Literally think of any other female
drummer.
Meg White. That's it.
So it's kind of shitty, but Karen didn't like that. She didn't want to be considered a pioneer, and Karen was not a supporter of the women's movement.
Oh, what?
She thought straight up, there's like interviews of her that are really shitty. She's like, women should be at home. Women should cook for their husbands, and that she planned on quitting her career and everything if she did get married.
Oh my God.
I know. It's really, really unfortunate.
Why does she have to be so swaggerless though?
I don't know, man.
You're like you got the baddest voice the world has ever heard. Like, just come on now.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. So in the beginning, she said she didn't have any interest in dating because it wouldn't survive her constant touring. She also said that the music business kind of made it hard to meet everyone. But Olivia Newton-John says that Karen would always confide in her about the longing to be in a relationship and have someone and to have her own family. So she was definitely kind of stressed and sad about the whole touring thing all the time.
Was she a virgin?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. In her day, though, she dated a few guys here and there. Steve Martin.
Oh.
Tony Danza.
Oh, snap.
I know.
Tony Danza was fine in his day.
I know, but nothing, I guess, ever really popped off for her.
Okay.
But in 1975, Karen had dropped in weight to 91 pounds.
No.
She started trying to hide how skinny she was by layering clothing around her friends and family. So they said she would have on like 3 shirts, a sweater, a vest, a jacket, and like a fucking scarf.
What? It's cold.
I know. But for performances, she would still wear gowns, and when she would walk out on stage, fans would audibly react to her appearance.
No way.
Yeah, and you can even hear it like in some of the recordings. They're like,
oh, wow.
And she started receiving several fan letters asking what was wrong with her, and people thought maybe she had cancer or that there was something going on. But Karen just denied. And in a very famous interview around the time, people are asking her, like, I don't remember, I think it's some UK show, but they're like, there's all these stories that you're losing more and more weight and that you have the slimmer's sickness.
Oh,
and
slimmer's sickness?
Yeah. And she's like, I'm just pooped. I'm just tired. Like, and she just denied. And another big problem was that nobody knew what the fuck this was back then.
Yeah.
Anorexia wasn't talked about or mainstream. So her friends and her family, they'd be like, just eat. You
Yeah.
know, like they thought it was so simple. They were constantly just trying to shove food at her, like the record producers, her friends. They'd be like, let's go eat, let's do this, let's do that, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, like if you eat this or if you finish this, we'll go do that. Like try to reward her and shit.
Right. Oh, this is already such a horrible and excruciating disease. Like now, today, when we know a little bit more about it, when there are treatment centers, and back then, oh God.
And there was nothing.
Yeah.
The band started noticing how out of energy she was. She would lay down in the middle of shows and she'd have to take constant breaks. So they started trying to get her help. But her family just kind of tiptoed around the whole thing at this point.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, that Karen says that her mom would suddenly get really interested in her when she was dieting, giving her more and more attention. So she kind of liked that because she
Yeah.
always thought that Richard was the favorite. And now finally she was getting some attention.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then in 1979, Richard took a year off to finally enter rehab. And Karen decided to make a solo album with famous record producer Quincy Jones.
Oh.
The solo album, it's actually really tight because it's more disco sounding, and I had never heard it before.
Yeah,
doing
I've
this research.
never heard of this.
It's actually nice, but the record company was like, fuck no, you're not releasing a disco album. Like, you're a Carpenter. You guys have to do like this mellow, lovey shit. So they shelved it.
No.
And Quincy pushed for it, and I guess she also worked with Phil Ramone, who was a famous musician, and he was pushing for it, but like the record company was like, fuck no. And Richard came out of rehab to be like, we can't do this, Karen, like this is against our sound, this isn't our look and stuff.
What the fuck? Fuck you.
I
Fuck
know.
you. Go back to rehab. Oh my God.
So the record company then charged the Carpenters $400,000 to cover the cost of recording her album, and they had to pay it from their future royalties.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, so it's a self-titled album. You could find it now.
Okay.
On August 31st, 1980, Karen got married.
What?
She married 39-year-old real estate developer Thomas Burris at the Beverly Hills Hotel after 2 months of dating.
Wow.
Burris was divorced and he had an 18-year-old son. He was also over 10 years older than her. So a few days before the wedding, he admitted to her that he had undergone a vasectomy, and Karen had always wanted children and wanted her own family. So she asked him to, like, would you reverse it? But he said no. So she tried to cancel the wedding, but her mother told her no because friends and family were traveling from all over the place and the press already knew about her wedding date.
What the fuck? Who cares?
I know.
This is all that she's ever wanted.
I know.
She's got her Disney ass figurines in her apartment, ready for that baby.
She ready for a kid. Listen to the Carpenters. Do you think that woman's not ready for a kid?
Ooh, but, she's been so sick. I don't know if she could have a kid.
That's true, actually. So they ended up going forward with the wedding, and they bought a house and settled in Newport Beach. But obviously the whole no kids thing caused a lot of strain on their marriage. Yeah. They were never able to get over it, and they ended up separating 14 months later.
Oh, damn.
But what Karen didn't know is that he had been living way beyond his means. And he had been spending all her fucking money to the point that he left her with stocks and bonds only.
What the fuck?
He was spending like $50,000 on this and he $50,000 on that, and she didn't know what was going on.
Damn. He married her and he was like, "Ooh, I'm about to ball out on this boring ass money."
Yep. Karen also reportedly was physically abused by him. And she would often call her friends scared whenever he would lose his temper.
No. All right. So, yeah, get rid of that motherfucker.
Yeah. Friends say that marriage was like the very worst thing that could have happened to her at that time. Because it's only going to push her deeper into her illness.
Yeah. Then you start thinking like, okay, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, definitely. And how do I fix it?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's still very, very thin. And her brother said that he and his parents didn't know what to do. Like, Richard says that they would talk about it, but they didn't know what this was, and they didn't know how to help her.
Yeah.
In 1981, Karen finally admitted to her brother that she had a problem and she needed help. He helped her reach out to Cherry Boone, who famously had recovered from anorexia, and Cherry Boone got in contact with her former doctor to try and help Karen. But Karen wanted a quick fix since she had recording and tour obligations, and the doctor was telling her that treatment was going to take around 3 years.
Yeah. What did she... I mean, she just wanted to be put on, like, on a feeding tube?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
So instead, she chose treatment with a famous psychotherapist in New York called Stephen Levenkron, who's famous for this book on anorexia called The Best Little Girl in the World.
That sounds like a...
He's still, like, pretty hyped as,
Really?
a doctor who treats anorexia.
Oh, just something about that title rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, me too. I don't like little girl, something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Karen didn't recover, and she began using thyroid replacement medication to increase her metabolism and laxatives on top of that.
Oh, God. So now it's like she's attacking it on like 3 different fronts. She's not eating.
Yep.
She's taking the medication and the laxatives. Like, this is escalating.
And she's still exercising.
Oh, God. No. How does she even have the energy?
She would go on long walks. Yeah, like she doesn't like straight up do like weights or anything like that anymore. But yeah, she'll like go on long walks.
Anything that involves literally just standing up is too much exercise for someone
who's doing all that to their body. Have you seen the HBO documentary on the anorexic women?
Yes.
It's really good.
Is it called like Dying to be Thin or
something like that? It might just be called Thin.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really good.
There's also a Netflix movie called To the Bone with Lily Collins.
I saw that.
It's not great.
It's fine. That's whatever.
Yeah. So Karen's anorexia spiraled and she ended up losing more weight. Okay, so she told her psychotherapist that she started feeling dizzy and her heart was starting to beat irregularly. She also admitted to him that she was using about 80 pills of laxatives a night.
What?
Which is
how many? 80?
80.
What the fuck?
Which is actually common practice for many anorexics.
That's crazy.
I guess the doctor said that actually like a lot of his patients average over 100.
Wow.
Because I think your body gets used to it or whatever. So you just have to keep taking more and more. At this point, she reached her lowest weight of 79 pounds.
Wow.
In September 1982, she was admitted to Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, and she was placed on an intravenous parenteral nutrition. So they put the tube to feed her, feeding tube. The press was told that she was suffering from exhaustion, and they weren't told of any of her actual illness. The procedure ended up working, and she gained about 10 pounds, but this put a strain on her heart which was super weak from years and years of an improper diet.
Oh, I hate this.
I know. Karen was released and returned to California in November 1982. She had a plan to revive her career, finalize her divorce, and start a new album with her brother. According to friends, she was super upbeat after getting out of the hospital. She would tell everybody, check out my ass, and like, I've got a lot of living left to do. She started making all these plans for the future. On December 17th, 1982, she sang her last performance at the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks when she sang Christmas carols for her godchildren.
Oh my God.
Their classmates and their friends. Karen was no longer seeking treatment at this time, even though her therapist and everyone around her was urging her to try and see someone in LA to continue to help her. She was basically like, okay, I gained 10 pounds. I'm better. On February 1st, 1983, she met with Richard for the last time to discuss the Carpenters and a brand new tour. On February 4th, she was scheduled to sign the papers to finalize her divorce, but after waking up that morning, she collapsed in her bedroom at her parents' home in Downey. Her mother found her naked, lying face down in her closet.
Oh, no.
Paramedics arrived and found her heart beating once every 10 seconds.
Oh.
Richard rushed to Downey Community Hospital, where Karen was pronounced dead at 9:51 a.m. Her autopsy revealed death due to cardiotoxicity due to anorexia nervosa.
How old was she?
I want to say Karen. Sorry, so this is 1983, and she was born in 1950. So
Mm-hmm.
33.
Wow.
I can do math. She had blood sugar of more than 10 times the normal average. A coroner also told colleagues that her heart failure was partially caused by repeated use of Ipecac syrup, which she started using at the end of her life in order to induce vomiting.
Oh, shit.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Karen's funeral was held on February 8th, 1983 with 1,000 guests. Her ex-husband attended and threw his wedding band into the casket. Her brother sang Carpenter's songs. And
so they never got divorced?
No, but she did change her will.
Okay, good. I was going to say.
Before she died, she changed her will so that her brother and her parents got everything. Mm-hmm. And the only thing he got was, I think, the house.
Okay.
Karen's buried in Cypress, California at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park. Karen's voice is known as literally like the best voice in music.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Everything I read this one article where somebody describes her voice as velvet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I thought, I was like, oh, that's fucking perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
It's like soothing and smooth. It's
warm even. Yeah. Like it's so weird. She's also gone down as one of the best drummers, even though she kind of was pushed out of drumming too soon, I think. The Carpenters ended up going on for a bit without Karen, with Richard producing their unreleased music for a few years. They definitely went down in history for their clean-cut American attitude, mass appeal, and melancholy love songs. Karen's death also brought media attention to anorexia, as it hadn't been widely known about beforehand. And her family started the Karen Carpenter Foundation to raise money for research on anorexia and other eating disorders. And Richard still does shows time to time to raise money for that foundation. And that's the story of Karen Carpenter.
Good job. That
one's so sad, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's crazy? Like, I was doing this research. It's still such a... I don't think it's a rare disease. It's just like kind of a disease that is hush hush. Like, people don't talk about it. And the fact that she died from it is fucking insane to me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, so many people had to fail her, you know? And really, like, is there any other celebrity that's died of anorexia?
She's the one that I think of.
Me too. She looks so frail in some of the interviews at the end, and her hair starts getting like frizzy. You know how that happens? Like it starts to become like
hair
fur.
Starts falling out and shit.
Yeah. Fucking crazy.
Oh God. But if any positive came from it, it's like you said, like people know what it is now. Now there's a face to it.
Yeah, definitely. And like it's not just like what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or just like just eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was this week's episode.
There's a lot of lows and there's not that many highs in this. When the high point of this episode was Tanya Harding getting hit by a lead pipe, that's how you know.
You know shit is bad. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Drama Club Pod, and on the website dramaclubpod.com.
On the hotline 505-539-0556. On our website, leave us a tip if you can.
Yeah.
And leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
However, whatever with your however.